Alright guys, for breakfast I am going to be making some ham, egg, and cheese quesadillas. It is going to be a quesadilla bake to make it easy so we don't have to sit there and flip it on a skillet. So the ingredients you will need are a wrap. I'm using carb counter wraps. They're 1 smart point each, and I like the size and I really like the texture better than the wellness wrap. So if you haven't tried carb counter wraps, give them a try. They're very good. You'll need some eggs, 1 cup of fat-free shredded cheddar cheese. I have 98% fat-free ham steak. We're going to be using about 3 ounces of the steak. And then for seasonings, I have here salt, pepper, and everything but the bagel seasoning. So that is all you'll need for this. Pretty easy. Alright, I measured out 3 ounces of the ham steak. So now I'm going to just dice the ham into like dice-sized pieces. And I decided to use ham just because it's something different than turkey bacon, which I eat quite a bit of turkey bacon. I wanted something a little bit different, and I do feel like the point value for ham is pretty decent, and it's kind of sweeter, and I think it would be really good in a quesadilla. So I did decide to do that for this week, but feel free to use whatever kind of meat you want in your quesadilla. You don't have to use ham. You could use bacon as well. I'm going to put that in this little container right here. I think I'm going to do about 7 eggs. I think that will be good because these are larger eggs. We're going to go ahead and cook the ham, just get it a little bit brown on the edges. You don't need to add oil to the pan for this because this is already, it kind of has like its own oil. So just let that cook for about 2 minutes. It doesn't need much because it's going to also cook into, it's also going to cook in the oven, but I do like to just give it a little browning, a little cooking beforehand. Alright, next we're going to cook our eggs. So I'm going to put it on low heat, pour the egg mixture, and let the eggs cook and scramble. And then I will show you how to assemble the quesadillas. Alright guys, I'm ready to assemble the breakfast quesadillas. So I'm going to just open a layer and add, hot, some eggs. Add some ham. And then I have 1 cup of cheese here. I don't know if I'm going to use it all. Most likely I probably will. Because I want lots of cheese since it is a cheese quesadilla. Then you just flatten it out like that. And then we're going to just do all of these. And then you spray the top with olive oil spray so that it gets really crispy and brown on the top. Then you bake it for 8 minutes, and then you flip it on the other side, spray it, cook it for an additional 8 minutes. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to just fast forward the assemble part now that you saw the first one. I'm going to speed this up and then put it into the oven. Alright guys, the quesadillas are done. I decided I'm going to cut them in half just so that they're a little bit easier to eat. But this is how they turned out, nice and crispy. You can see the cheese all hardened up. So I'm very excited to have these for breakfast. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it right down the center. I am going to eat a whole one. Like, this is a whole one. But, I mean, you could only have half if you want. But they're only 2 points for the whole entire thing. So, that's amazing for breakfast, I feel like. I mean, you can have this whole thing. Was that right? Was it 2 points? Let me double check. Yeah, 2 points. 2 points for this. That's pretty great. So good. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, they're falling. Oh. This is what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and pack them up in aluminum foil, wrap them up. I feel like that's the easiest way to do that. So I'll show you what it looks like once it's all packed up. Alright, I'm going to just wrap these up in aluminum foil. That's just the easiest, I feel like, and they don't get moist. And you can pop them in the freezer this way. So. Breakfast is done. Alright guys, for lunch I'm going to be making something so simple and easy but very good. This is going to be shrimp fajitas. It's kind of like a shrimp fajita bowl because I'm going to be having it with lettuce and some salsa, some avocado on top. So I have here a microwavable bag of brown rice. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave and then I'm going to take out 1/4 and put it into my containers, and that will be for the fajita bowl. So I'm only going to have 1/4 cup of rice because I like to only have just a little bit to kind of bulk it up, add some really good texture. So I'm going to microwave that for 3 minutes. That's all it needs. I have 1 pound of peeled small pink shrimp, and I just washed it very well and I made sure that it was all clean. So I have that in this bowl. You'll need some fajita mix. I really like this Taco Bell fajita mix. It's really good. And I have some mini sweet peppers. This is like the variety packet. The only pepper that's not in here is a green pepper, but that's okay because I prefer orange, red, and yellow peppers anyways. So I am going to use this whole thing of fajita mix. I'm going to do half on the shrimp when I cook it and then half in the peppers when I cook it. So I want this to have lots of flavor, and then these two things are 0, so you're only getting points from the rice and the seasoning. So this should be very low in points. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up, de-seed them, and I like to cut them in slices, so that's how I do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward this part. Alright guys, I have my skillet heating up. I'm going to add some olive oil spray to the pan. Okay, before adding the seasonings, let this kind of cook down and get softer, and then we'll add the seasoning next. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this up a little bit and just let this cook before we add the fajita mix. Alright, now we're going to add about half of the packet to the peppers. Good, and we're going to save the other half for the shrimp. I'm going to add just a little bit of water, probably like a tablespoon, so that the seasoning doesn't stick, and then give it a good mix. This is so good. Just the seasoning itself with these veggies is really good. Okay, so we're going to let this continue to cook for about 5 minutes, and then we'll take it off the heat, put it in a bowl, and cook the shrimp in the same pan. Alright guys, the rice is done. I have it sitting over here. While those peppers are cooking, I am going to make a little slaw to go with this. You could use lettuce or you could use slaw if you want to try that out. I like using slaw because I feel like it doesn't get soggy, and I just like it. I just think it's the cabbage and the carrots. I really like slaw with my bowls, but feel free to do lettuce as well. I might, the day that I eat the fajita bowl, I probably will add a little bit of lettuce to it, but just make sure it's, you know, fresh the day of that I eat it so that the lettuce doesn't get soggy. But if you were taking this to work, you could put the lettuce in a plastic bag with a paper towel, and that would work as well. I have this sweet cilantro lime dressing I get at Walmart. It is very, very good. I'm going to go ahead and flavor the slaw with the sweet cilantro lime vinaigrette I get from Walmart. You can have 2 tablespoons for 2 Smart Points, or 60 calories if you count calories and not Smart Points. This is really, really good vinaigrette. I love anything with lime and cilantro. To me is really good. So I'm going to do 3 tablespoons. I'm just going to give that a little toss together just so that it gets kind of wet, and this will go in with my little fajita bowl. Oh, it smells so good. Just simple, very simple to do. It's all cut up for you in the bag, and then just add some dressing, and this definitely makes a difference in the bowl, I promise. Alright, the peppers are done cooking. I'm going to go ahead and add them to this bowl right here. And what's good about this is when you cook the shrimp next, look at all of the seasoning that's like stuck to the pan. I think there's a name for it. I just don't know what it is, but it's really good because it adds so much flavor. So I'm going to keep all of that in the pan. Our peppers are done. They look so delicious. I'm going to go set that to the side, and we're going to cook our shrimp. Alright, with the shrimp, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to add the fajita mix into the shrimp now before we even get it cooking. We're going to add the other half. And then we're just going to give that a little mix. So season the shrimp first before you cook it. There we go. You want it to look like that. Then add it to the pan. Alright guys, I am going to add a little bit of cornstarch. I usually always add cornstarch when I cook something like Asian, like orange chicken or sesame chicken. I use cornstarch to thicken the sauce, so I decided I'm going to add a little bit into the shrimp so that this like fajita sauce gets thicker. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in here. You don't need much, literally only a little. And then give that a stir, and that will kind of thicken this sauce up a little bit, and I think that will be really good. So that's optional. If you have that on hand, give it a try. If not, it's not necessary. But what cornstarch does is just make it like gelatinous, I believe, which makes it just like a thicker sauce. Here is the shrimp. It's steaming. It just came out, but look at the sauce. See, that cornstarch definitely makes it a little bit of a difference. It makes it just more coated and sticky. So there is our little assembly for our fajita bowls. I'm going to let this kind of cool down before I put it in here. So I will be right back once this cools down, and I will show you how I assemble this. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and assemble the fajita bowls. I'm going to do 1/4 cup of brown rice. That's as much as I feel like I need when I have little bowls like this. It just adds a little bit of something to it. You can have 1/4 cup for 2 Smart Points. Alright, next we're going to add the peppers. And then last, we're going to add the slaw. And I'm just putting the slaw right next to the rice because I'm going to mix it all together when I eat it. And like I said, I'll be adding some lettuce to it, which will definitely bulk it up a lot. Alright, here are the individual containers and what they look like. Looks absolutely delicious, and I know it's going to be really good. So easy, so flavorful. I really hope you guys try this out. Probably one of my favorites. Alright guys, I'm just going to put the lid on, and then I'll pop these into the fridge. Alright guys, for dinner I'm going to be making French onion turkey meatballs. So I will be having this with like a side veggie that I'm not going to be showing in this meal prep because I'll just make it the day of. I have lots of steamed veggies, so I feel like this would be perfect with some steamed green beans or broccoli. But what you are going to need is 97.3 extra lean ground turkey to keep it low in points, fat-free mozzarella. You're going to need some flour, a can of beef broth, and 1 onion. You'll also need some Italian dry seasoning and some salt and pepper, and then optional garlic and onion powder. I just mix them both in this because I love garlic and onion powder, so I always add this to like most all my meals. So that is optional, but as you can see, this is a very simple, easy recipe. I got the inspiration from Felicia's French onion chicken that she makes, which I have made before here on my channel. I will leave that link for that video up in the iCards if you're interested in the chicken. And I kind of just had the idea to try meatballs out because if you guys don't know, I love my meatballs. I love turkey and chicken meatballs. It's like my favorite thing. This is a recipe I have not yet tried yet with the meatballs, but I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out great. Okay, I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of the beef broth, and this is to cook the onions in. You'll need 3 tablespoons for cooking the onions, and then 1/2 cup for the actual French onion gravy. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that to the side. And then I'm also just going to get ready the 1/2 cup for the gravy. There we go. Just so that's already done for us. Next, we're going to go ahead and cut our onion. I picked a rather large onion because I love onions, and I think the more the merrier. I'm going to go ahead and wash my onion so that it doesn't make me cry. So whoever gave me that tip, thank you so much. It works. Go. Alright, the onions are cut very thin, and we're going to go start cooking our onions in our skillet. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and let the onions soften before we add the 3 tablespoons of beef broth. I like to get them a little bit softer first before adding that broth. Alright, we're going to go ahead and just put the onions onto a paper plate, take them out of the pan. Go. Here are the onions. We're just going to put that to the side. The trick to keeping meatballs together is add a little bit of flour. It just needs 1 tablespoon of flour, and that really helps it hold together. We're going to add garlic and onion powder, just to whatever you like. Everyone's taste buds are different. We're going to add some Italian seasoning. Black pepper. And a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. And then you're just going to mix this all together with your hands, and you won't need to add an egg since you add the flour. It definitely helps combine it all together. So just mix it with your hands, get all the seasonings together. Make sure the flour gets in there. Alright. Alright, next go ahead and just form your meatballs and then put them onto a plate. And I'm going to be doing that size. Alright, the meatballs are done. We have 19 meatballs. I'm going to just let those sit. And now we're going to cook our meatballs. We're going to turn this back on. Add a little bit of spray in there. And we're going to go ahead and cook these 19 meatballs. Just get them a little brown on the outside, and then we'll finish them in the oven. Okay, now that the meatballs are nice and browned on each side, I'm going to go ahead and take them off. I have them here on a plate. I'm going to put that to the side. Then we are going to make the gravy. For the gravy, turn your pan back on low. Transfer your onions back to the pan. Add 1 tablespoon of flour to the onions. Just place it right on top. And the 1/2 cup of your beef broth. And then I'm just going to take a whisk and I'm going to just start whisking it in small circles, and it'll start to thicken up and boil. And then to this, I'm going to add a little bit of dried Italian herb. This is optional. I just like to make sure that everything's kind of seasoned. We did the meatballs, and I want to make sure we do the onions. And then just some black pepper. That is it. And as you can see, the gravy will kind of start bubbling up. Alright. Our gravy is done. Alright, I have a little Pyrex dish right here. I believe this is a 7 by 11. I think that's the size of this. We're going to take our onion mixture. So add your onion mixture into the dish. Make sure you get all that gravy. Next, we're going to add our meatballs. Just stick those right in. And then I have 1 cup of fat-free mozzarella. I'm going to just sprinkle that right on top. And I like to do 1 cup. I think it's worth it. Because, I mean, French onion has to be cheesy, so. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be delicious. To the top, I'm going to add Italian dry seasonings, just because that's what I'm used to when I see French onion. Lots of seasoning to the top. Look at that, you guys. We're going to go ahead and bake this for about 15 minutes in the oven on 400. Do you guys see this? It looks so good. Oh. So this is the French onion turkey meatballs. I am going to store them, but I am going to try one and let you guys know if they're good, because I can't make you wait. I know you want to know. Oh my god. You guys, it's amazing. It's so good. Please make these. Please make these. Please make these. 1 smart point for 1 meatball. I'm a genius. You know, I think there's probably recipes similar on Pinterest, I'm sure, just as there is French onion chicken. So there's probably something pretty similar to this, but I honestly did just come up with this on a spur of the moment because I wanted to make meatballs, but I also wanted French onion chicken, but I was like, I've already showed that, and then this just came to mind. So, yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all the crispy cheese. Oh my gosh, you guys. Wow. This is going to be gone quick. So, pretty affordable. Onions are cheap. Beef broth is. Flour, I'm sure everyone has. And then the seasonings, the only thing that cost a little bit is that lean meat, but it's worth it because it keeps it 1 smart point for 1. And for dinner, I'll have these. I think I'll probably honestly have like 5 or 6. Because I could have 5 or 6, let's just say 5. 5 points for the 5 meatballs. And then a side of veggies is 0. So that's not bad for dinner. You could definitely even have more. I mean, you could have 7 or 8 if you want. But that is what they look like. I mean, I'm sure you guys can tell through the camera how good these look. I'm glad that I tried it on camera because I had to let you guys know if they were good or not. And they're amazing. 10 out of 10. Alright, I can't wait to Joey. I can't wait for Joey to try this. So I'm going to let them cool, put the lids on, and store them in the fridge.
I've been missing your strawberry.